was great to be back at Geodis Park. The fan support that we had tonight for basically like a midweek game was amazing. The uniforms look great. I guess now after the win, we're going to try to find as many ways as we can put those on. But no, joking aside, that's a really good Columbus team. They've been really good for a long period of time. And tonight, I thought this was a really complete team performance. I think when we analyzed the game through phases of play, we were able to, I think, execute at a pretty high level in a lot of phases, whether that's the back line and Joe Willis defending the penalty box, whether that's, the midfielders and the fullbacks, controlling the tempo of the game through the build-up, and then obviously the guys finishing, and then the complete team performance defensively. So for us, something that we can be proud of, something that we can build on, but in this league, you got to turn it right around. So we'll enjoy it tonight, and tomorrow morning we'll flip our brains. Well, we'll probably flip our brains right now to watch San Diego Toronto because they're playing. But we'll get right back in focus.
Thank you, Coach. We are going to open the floor for questions. Just a reminder that we don't have match day minutes due to media availability this week, so use these to ask any questions regarding the.
Hey, BJ. On the first half, it seems like Columbus had a lot more of the ball than the second half. You found success in both ways, whether it was, conceding a little bit of the ball maybe, and then in the second half it seemed like Columbus slowed down a little bit. Did you do anything specific to kind of cause that, or was it just a matter of fatigue, or what was your reading between the two halves?
Yeah, I think it's a good assessment. So I think, when you score again in the first minute, there's always going to be this period of time that, things change a little bit. I thought our defensive shape wasn't as compact up front as possible in the first half, which led them to be able to sort of find the middle, quickly, and then sort of that once they find the middle, they push you back, and it's hard for guys to step out. In the second half, I thought we were much better with the group up front being compact, making it hard. And when they did play the middle, I think in the first 10 minutes, we were able to create 2 or 3 really good turnovers, and then started to force them into wide areas. So I just think it was a little bit game state to start, and maybe not as compact defensively early on. And once we got that corrected, I thought it settled in.
And then just a little bit on the 3 center backs now that you have, who have all played pretty significant minutes throughout. Walker Zimmerman comes back into the fold for his first game starting in a while, and plays really well and able to keep a clean sheet. So now you kind of have 3 players for 2 positions. How are you planning to kind of balance that out throughout the season?
We're gonna let them compete it out and see how we go. That's what this is all about. We want to create a very competitive environment, and as guys come back from whether it's injury or international duty, whatever, the standards and the standards don't change, and each guy's going to earn their position.
BJ, I wanted to ask. We've seen before, I think Philadelphia is kind of the one that stands out, but just how you guys are able to, when you need to, just go pretty direct and kind of exploit the space in behind. What was it about this matchup in particular that you guys felt like you could target that especially? Yeah,
that was something that we were certainly looking for, and tried to position our guys a little bit that way. Listen, I think one of the greatest strengths of Columbus is that they control the ball, they control the possession, and they put numbers forward. But at the same time, I thought there was at least open space. And I think what we learned from the last game was, I don't think our intention was that we were going to create counterattacking goals, but at least that would help us regain the ball and possession and then establish the tempo of the game. That was our main objective. It's nice that we score goals, and I think we scored an all-star goal, which was the 3 all-stars made that counterattack, so kind of cool.
And I just wanted to ask about Andy. You just mentioned that all-star goal, and it does feel a little bit hard to kind of single out one guy tonight, but he had another fantastic performance. How important is it to have someone who's able to progress the ball so consistently, even under pressure, on that right side?
Yeah, I think for us to grow as a group and grow as a team, we're going to have to find different ways when the game needs it. And so somebody like Andy, I think, provides that. He can play a 60-yard outlet ball, or he can dribble inside, or he can slip ball in behind. So for us, it just makes us a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more versatile, and I think it makes it hard to kind of, I guess, key in on one guy. With that said, he didn't have the easiest defensive matchup tonight, and the amount of work that he did to compete and to connect on the weak side, and really give us that, 5 players inside the penalty box to help us defend is just as important. So, credit to his commitment to being a two-way player.
Yep. BJ, it'd been a while since you guys had to respond from a loss. What's been the vibe like the last few days, and do you think it says something about the team that you responded this well to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you see the mentality in the group. The best way to say it is we went down to Miami, and Miami's obviously a really good team, but we don't believe that they got our best punch, for lack of a better term. So, I think the mentality of the group was have honest conversation. They didn't get our best, and we made a commitment to each other that go through our process, review, try to figure out what we need to improve. But one of those was, like, no matter what happens tonight, they're going to get our best. They're going to get our best punch from the whole team. And I thought tonight, the guys responded great individually and collectively.
Vijay, you already stated a few of this that I'm going to ask you about, but it looked like sometimes the game looked like a practice session, in a way that all of a sudden you had all the guys inside your area, obviously because of the pressure of your opponent, and then all of a sudden the team was sending balls on counterattack. And it seemed like the game switched back and forth into stuff like that going on inside the pitch. Is that kind of a fair assessment of the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have two really good teams, and I think we're a team that wants to have the ball. Columbus is a team that has shown that they can continually dominate the ball. And so you're going to have it. And that's why we prepare, we prepare for every phase of play, because you're going to need to utilize every phase of play to beat really good teams like Columbus. And so, I thought tonight the guys responded great. And if we had to defend low block, we did it as well as we could. If we needed to counterattack, I thought we were able to be dangerous in the counterattack. And then I thought there was long periods of time that we were really good with the ball, controlling the ball, and not just using it, but like trying to disorganize an opponent and still find like opportunities to be threatening, to threaten the goal.
Now, you already said that the turnaround is quick here in the league, very quick. Miami and then Columbus today, two top teams in the Eastern Conference, and now you get Toronto coming in here. They're on the bottom line of our conference. How difficult is it? I mean, how do you make the guys say, well, this might be just as difficult? This thing might be just as dangerous, even though we're playing in Georges Park when they come in this Saturday.
Yeah, when I talk about the quick turnarounds, that's not unique to Nashville, right? Like, everybody's doing it. So we'll never use it as an excuse or anything of that nature. For us, it's about turning it around. Turn it around. If guys get their numbers called, they got to step up and play, and that's part of what we do. And that's why I think we have a really defined process on how we want to go about it, and we just keep ticking it over. So we're not going to be concerned about the mentality. We respect every single opponent. We prepare for everyone exactly the same.
BJ, you spoke earlier on the competitive environment with Walker Zimmerman, Jason Palacios, all the above, and the center backs. But as for forwards, when it comes to Jonathan Perez, who's just developed his game throughout U.S. Open Cup and MLS League play, and now with Jacob Schaffelberg having that little knock in the previous match. I guess for Ahmed Qasim, when he got subbed into tonight's match, it just seemed like there's that lack of grittiness. Obviously, Jonathan Perez brings something a little different. I guess how can you get more out of Ahmed Qasim when it comes to stuff like that?
I think they're just two different profiles.
Right.
Look at the play Ahmed makes tonight.
Yeah.
So, the timing of the run, the ball, the composure, the calmness to get right to the edge, right in front of the goalkeeper and slip the ball. I just look at them as different profiles. Jacob is a different profile to Johnny. Ahmed is a different profile to Johnny as well, Jacob as well. And so for me, I feel fortunate to have these three guys. Yeah, of course they're competing, but it's nice to have different tools in your tool belt to sort of unleash when you need to. And Ahmed, I mean, you see the impact he made right away. So for me, it was I think that shows the depth of our team and the commitment of guys to step up and do what's asked for them.
Hey, coach. Do you think this team can continue to grow up, or is it already close to his limit? Because in the last game, I feel it don't attack completely how to do it in this tonight.
No, I think it's two different types of games. I mean, obviously you have Miami who sat a little bit lower. It was more difficult for us to break them down. I thought tonight we obviously had to sit a little bit lower in periods of time. Each game's unique, each game's different, and each game we're going to take, learning lessons from. Even from the DC game in the Open Cup, we had to make adjustments. So for us, it's not about. We don't spend time thinking about where we can be. We talk about, and I've said this a million times, we talk about that we're going to come to work tomorrow, we're going to turn the page, we're going to watch the game tonight, we're going to review it, and we're going to just try to find areas that we need to get better so that we can continue to improve throughout the entire season.
Hi, Coach. Our audience today, when see Joe Willis on the roster, they say like, why Willis? What happened with this coach? After what happened with Messi last game. Do you, when you prepare this game, thinking maybe like, okay, Willis, let me ground you and let me find another goalkeeper? Or do you think he have a bad day and he have another opportunity to do a great job like always?
I'm glad you asked that question because Joe Willis's performance tonight shows you why he's a pro, why he's been in this league for so long. I don't think I had 1 second of a thought like, okay, mistakes happen. We challenge everybody to play it this way, and we're committed to it. And somebody makes one mistake. Unfortunately, when the goalkeeper makes the mistake, it costs you. But nobody talks about the guy who misses a pass or passes the ball out of bounds. So for us, no. I thought what a tremendous response by Joe. You saw how comfortable he was with his feet again tonight, and then clearly, obviously, making big saves, especially that one at the end was great. So, I just think we just move right on. Absolutely.